Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man, Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And without any further ado, here they are, the Sports Bros. Hey, what's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the HOC, here at the Sports Bros Podcast. And in case you forgot or don't remember or need a refresher, you are listening to another wonderful, action-packed episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. We are coming off the heels of Super Bowl 54. But before we dive into that, allow me to introduce to you my co-host. To my left, we got the Almighty B Live.
I'm on your left. I'm more like down a few hundred miles over.
Just go. Shut the hell up. Just go with it. One more time, the Almighty B Live.
Oh man, you know what? I want to say this, man. I'm excited about this show today, and you know there's going to be a big old celebration in the state of Kansas. Oh, I meant Missouri. My bad. Go ahead. Take the show back, Eddy Kool. Whoopsie.
Where'd you graduate from again? Anyways, but I digress. And of course, we got the one, the only, the Money Man, Scottie D.
Sports fans, it's an exciting day. We are now officially on the countdown. As of this recording, 364 more days till the Cowboys claim their next Super Bowl trophy.
Wrong.
Very much looking forward to that. So
Wrong.
the countdown is on.
No. First of all, let's you're wrong to start with. Second of all, it'd be 365 more days. Leap year. Just saying.
Oh, that's true. Doggone, I have to wait one extra day.
One
extra day.
Oh, I love the opportunity to always one-up the Money Man. Yes, sir.
All right, fellas. Well, Scottie D, I'm pretty sure one more day ain't going to kill you.
Yeah, it's been long enough. So now at least we're down to the final year. So I am excited about that. So one more year, and then we get our sixth trophy.
All right. Speaking of one more season of the NFL is in the books, and it culminated Sunday night with Super Bowl 54. Miami, Florida, sunshine, pigskin, celebrities, The Rock, Dan Marino, the Dolphins, anything else? Miami Heat, LeBron James. Oh, my bad. I got a little carried away. My bad.
100 best players in the NFL, supposedly.
Yep, the 100 best players in the history of the NFL. So let's go ahead and get this little puppy kick right off, shall we? Super Bowl 54 was a matchup between representing the National Football Conference, the San Francisco 49ers, and representing the American Football Conference, or a.k.a. the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs, I want to say they eat one out. They took it from the San Francisco 49ers, which wound up to be a pretty interesting game. At first, it was kind of like, you know what? Oh, boy, here it goes. And then the bottom fell out. But I'm not going to elaborate on that too much. I'm going to let my co-host do that. Eeny, meeny, miny. Scottie D, I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah, well, I wanted to see a good game, and we did get that. I wanted to see a good competitive game because last year was a snoozer. And Kansas City again showed their resiliency being down 10. Now, I have to admit, I was kind of pulling for the Chiefs. And even in the third quarter when they were down 10, or in the fourth quarter, I should say, I still thought they had a pretty good chance to pull it out. And then Mahomes threw his second interception. Now, I watched enough football to know that, you can't ever count a team out like that. 2 scores in just a few minutes. We've seen that done before. But against that San Francisco defense, I really didn't like Kansas City's chances. And sure enough, they got the ball back, marched down the field twice. And, we know what happened. Game over. San Francisco, they coughed it up. And it seemed like it was absolutely theirs for the taking. Shanahan, again, was not able in a Super Bowl to seal the deal. And hearts are broken of the 49er fan base. A lot of them are upset that they felt like they should have run the ball more to try to take up the clock when there was 5 and some change left in the game. I personally thought I didn't like the way they handled the clock management at the end of the half. I understand they were um, at the end of the half. When they got the ball back, they let the time wind down. Even General Manager John Lynch is calling timeout. They didn't. They let it wind down, and they didn't end up scoring. I thought they should have gone for the kill right there. They were being conservative because they didn't want to give Kansas City the ball back, but I think you got to show a little bit more confidence in your quarterback and go for the kill. Try to score there because you're getting the ball coming out of halftime. You could have had consecutive possessions with scoring opportunities. I didn't like that. But you know what? Congratulations to Andy Reid. Congratulations to the Chiefs fan base. 50 years is a long time to wait for a championship. And that's kind of a feel-good story today to have Andy Reid get off the schneid and the Chiefs get their win. What say you, Be Live?
Man, I agree with you 100%. I'm going to say this. I was rooting for the 49ers because my dad is a diehard 49ers fan. I actually grew up a 49ers fan before the Carolina Panthers came into fruition, and it is what it is. But, man, I'm going to say this. As much I want to give respect to all the players on the field, but coaching is coaching is coaching is coaching, and the better coach won. I'm gonna say this. I gave Kyle Shanahan benefit of the doubt when he was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, because running the ball was not their strong suit when it came to Atlanta. They had a high-flying passing offense. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu at the time. I mean, that was what they were known for. And so I get it that they wanted to try to advance the ball and wanted to essentially they want to keep going, but that's neither here nor there right now. But this time, you're up by 10 with 6.5 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm.
2nd and 9, and you play action pass. Why? You just had your running back in the NFC Championship game run for 224 yards. And you're telling me you're not going to hand the ball off to this dude?
Sounds familiar.
I didn't understand that. Now you got 3rd and long, and you're still passing the ball. So you're not eating up any time. You're not converting. And now you're doing essentially what you didn't want to do when you let the time run off in the first half. You should have been doing what you were doing at the end of the first half, at the end of the second half. Reverse the roles. You should have been passing and trying to get something that last minute of the first half, and you should have been running the ball and clock management, letting the clock run in the second half. What kind of backwards thinking is that? Kyle Shanahan, I'm sorry. Your team, they went, 13-3 this year?
Mm-hmm.
I'd fire him.
Man, I don't know.
I'm
to fire him is very extreme because he's a good young coach with a lot of. I mean, that's an emotional, reactionary thing to say right now, but I didn't personally.
This is not emotion. No, this is like I don't understand the highest level to make such boneheaded calls.
But look, the guy was trying to win a championship, and I can't tell you how many times as a Cowboys fan, when the Cowboys had a lead like that, all Jason Garrett was interested in was running the ball and then punting it away, run 3 times, punt it away. He was trying to go for the kill there. You know, he was trying to open it up a little bit. So I understand that the execution was poor, but I didn't have a tremendous amount of problem with them trying to win that game, but by any means necessary. Because if you go conservative there and they're keen on the run, then everyone would criticize them for, for falling into into the relaxed mode and just giving the ball back. So I didn't have a terrible problem with that as much as I did earlier in
You're
the clock
literally
management of the game. But you know what? It wouldn't have mattered if you can stop a 3rd and 15. You stop a 3rd and 15. That was the biggest play of the game. Mahomes throws the bomb, I think it was to Tyreek Hill on a 3rd and 15. I mean, if your defense makes a play for you right there, we're not even having this conversation.
Once again, Kansas City has that ability to do so. But see, once again, though, yes, that 3rd and 15 play was big. Absolutely. But I'm literally talking about there are opportunities and times where San Fran pounds the ball and they literally eat up an entire minute of time, a minute and a half if they run the ball. But
I get that. I know what you're
minute,
saying.
And a minute and a half is everything when you talk about the last few minutes of the game. It could easily just you spend the majority of your game doing what you're supposed to do and keeping Kansas City off the field. And then you get into the time where you need them off the field the most, and then you start throwing the ball when you're leading.
But you also have to look too. Garoppolo was not having a terrible game at that point. He was kind of in a groove there in the 3rd quarter, and he was trusting him to be able to pick up, a first down or two. And if you do that, then you can run the ball more because then the defense is guessing. But they gave up 2 huge plays on defense. That one, and then the little wheel route down the sideline. I don't know if it was a wheel route, but the one Richard Sherman got beat that set up
burned.
What was it?
He got something like that.
Yeah,
I don't think it was a wheel. It was like
No, actually, it wasn't. It was I think it was Watkins, right? Watkins put a juke move on him, and
it was almost like an in and out.
Straight down the side. And in those 2 plays, I mean, they took up tons of yardage in a very fast, very quick period of time there. To me, that's your fail right there, more than Shanahan. I understand. I'm not full-fledged disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I didn't have as big a problem with it as the criticism he's receiving. I mean, certainly not to fire the guy over that. Got you the Super Bowl, but
when your boss is up in the John Lynch was calling for a timeout. He was like, "What are you doing? Kill him. We got the momentum right now. We're about to get the ball back." That was another one. San Fran was going to get the ball back. Why? Kill mode in the first half.
Yeah. I agree.
So, I like to bring a lot of excitement and this is not an emotional call. I'm not saying really fire to do it. I'm not one to advocate that, but man, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow again, and that's always going to be etched in the annals of history next to Kyle Shanahan's name. That's gonna be real tough for him to get rid of. He got to win one.
He has to win one, man. The pressure is on him because just like this, as you said, this happened back when he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, and now it rears its ugly head once again in San Francisco. And I'm sitting there looking at the TV, and I'm like, why does this look so familiar? This looks so familiar. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? And I was like, oh boy. And I was like, you don't want to give Patrick Mahomes the ball back. And sure enough, they gave him back, and he closed that gap, and now they're hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. And he is the MVP of Super Bowl 54. I will say this, guys, it was better than that whole drag show last year.
Absolutely. It was riveting to the end, pretty much, I thought. I mean, it was a really good game. And you throw in a little bit of Shakira and J-Lo, man. It's a pretty good day, I'd say, overall.
Yes, Lord.
Hey.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Them hips don't lie.
See, J-Lo is what, the ripe age of 50, and Shakira in her 40s, and you got to take care of yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You got to take care of yourself, and maybe you one day can perform during halftime of the Super Bowl. So, wow, fellas, that's it. And the end of another season in the doggone books. 100 of them things in the books.
Oh, I can't wait for training camp.
Oh, boy. Already. Here we go. Now, going to our listener polls. By the way, guys, thank you for participating in our polls that we post on the Sports Bros podcast Facebook like page, and the question was asked, who you got raising the Lombardi Trophy? Will it be the 49ers or will it be the Kansas City Chiefs? And y'all got it right. 64% said the Chiefs and 36% said the 49ers. So we got some smart listeners out there. They got it right. They got it right. Got it right is what they did.
And you know what? You know why I'm upset? I can't get away from it.
Because why you mad, be live?
Because I picked the 49ers. And for 54 minutes, the 49ers were the best team on the field. 54 minutes, the 49ers were the best team on the field. That's why I'm so upset with Kyle Shanahan right now. Like, I don't get it.
Bro, don't worry about it. We called it right, so don't worry about it. We got your back. Your bros picked it right, so don't worry about it.
Well, actually, I picked the 49ers to win in overtime on a field goal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry there, fellas.
Yeah, I'm not. I did.
Here we go.
I'm sorry. You're lucky to have me then.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, man, here we go.
Keep things aligned.
See what happened when I be honest. Always get land based when I'm honest. It don't matter if I'm at work. It don't matter if I'm at home. And now it's transitioned to the damn podcast. And they say, hey, honesty pays off.
It's the best policy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna start lying through my teeth again. The hell with honesty. The hell with it. But I'm honestly saying thanks for everyone to listening to the Sports Bros podcast. I'm honest about that. I ain't lying about that.
I can say this. I did pick the Chiefs to win at the beginning of the season. I was correct with that.
Eli. Congratulations.
And
yes,
I've been flipping and flopping all year because I like to analyze stuff, but I did pick the Chiefs at the beginning of the season. And at that point, I was right.
And I'm sure that there were some Dabo guys on the roster. There's always that, right?
Sir, see, here you go. See, Eddy Kool and you know what? I'm Eddy. Do me a favor.
What's up?
Amtrak this thing. Just put it back on the track.
I was trying to tee it up for you there and make you feel better.
Scott, you're not going to do this 2 weeks in a row. Eddy Kool, just get back to the listeners.
And even our top fan, terrible Pete Telesky, said in the post, all roads lead to Dabo.
Okay, yeah. Oh my Lord. You know what?
Pete gave you props, man.
No. You know what? I'm so sick of y'all. You know what?
Why are you sick of us about your team? These your boys. These is your boys.
I'm gonna tell you exactly why. My first pepper point today was going to be about Rashad Breeland.
Well, you're going to stop it right there. You're going to stop it right there.
Recorded interception in the Super Bowl. He also had 2 tackles for a loss. All roads lead to Dabo. My second pepper point was going to be about Dorian O'Daniel. He's been on the team that finished first in this league now with good counsel in high school in Maryland, Clemson, and now Kansas City. He's the first time to win national championships at the college and pro level since Dan Bennett accomplished that in 1981. My third pepper point is Sammy Watkins of the Kansas City Chiefs with his spectacular performance. All roads lead to that's what y'all can't leave stuff alone. Jesus.
All roads lead to Dabo.
I was like, could y'all shut up?
You know we wouldn't have it any other way. Be like,
oh my God.
So did you just do your pepper? Did you just jump the shot?
Yes, I did. Because y'all ruined it.
This is great. Oh man, this is wonderful.
Oh God.
To our listeners, aren't you glad you tune in every Tuesday to listen to this here podcast? Because we laugh half the time, pick each other half the time, but we give you some good content to go off of.
Here I am thinking I'm being a good friend, and all I did was just put a quarter in the machine to the meltdown over there.
The meltdown machine.
I'm over here begging like Scott. He's about to do it again. He's about to do it.
Well, you
had it all prepared.
well, you got the rest of the show to figure out your
Oh,
3 pepper points. Oh
Sheesh.
man. Hey, we got the XFL, but I'll talk about that later.
Oh,
Scottie D, tell us how you really feel about the XFL.
gosh.
Like I said, we'll go into that later.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Thank you once again to the wonderful and lovely Miss Button to our introduction of the Choices of the Voices segment, where we ask you questions and you respond, and then we talk about it on the podcast. Well, she ain't lying. You know what time it is. This is our favorite section of the show. All right, Scottie D, what was the question for this week's show?
Question was, who do you feel is the best NFL player to not get a Super Bowl ring? And we had quite a response there and a lot of good answers and some interesting ones that I hadn't even thought of. What did we get there, Eddy Kool?
Man, we got a plethora, if you will, of answers. All right, let's go ahead and start with the legendary Uncle Max. He said, Jeff George, just asking. He said, Jeff George just asking, man. Yeah, man, Jeff George came into the league with a bunch of hype and a mullet, and it just never panned out for him. Never panned out for him. Mike Cano said Marino. Dan Marino was one. And then he said, those Bills guys, though, Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly, he said they're all right up there. He said, also, LaDainian Tomlinson comes to mind, too.
Yeah, that was one I actually had not even thought of. LT, the San Diego version of LT. Yeah, man, that's a good call because he's right at the top of the rushing list, the all-time rushing list. But those Bills guys, man, they got 4 swings and couldn't come up with one. And they really, because of that, a lot of them are overlooked. Excuse me, as some of the greatest players to ever be in the NFL, and that's a shame because they were an outstanding group.
Yeah, man, that's just like you said. You get 4 cracks at it. You at least win one. You know, at least 2, at least win one. But I don't know, man. I don't know. The bottom fell out, and it never happened. It never, ever happened. All right, Josh Doberstein. What's going on, Josh? He said Larry Fitzgerald. He said hands down, he's one of the top 3 wide receivers of all time. Yet he has no championship. That's a good pick as well, too.
I got a question. I got a question about that, though.
What's up?
Larry Fitzgerald, do you put him top 3? Or is he one of those because of his longevity?
I'm going to tell you right now, Larry Fitzgerald, I think might be my answer. I think Larry Fitzgerald, the longevity adds to the greatness, but that's a guy that's been consistent every year with size, speed, and hands, and not very consistent quarterback play throughout his career. So I think he's got to be considered near the top of this list.
I mean, think about it. He's had who's his quarterbacks? Carson Palmer. Now we have
Kurt
Kyler
Warner.
Murray and Kurt Warner. So I mean, he's had quite a few quarterbacks, and not to mention the backups that got hurt. And then it was but he still managed to perform at a high level. So I mean, I'm that's hard to argue, man. That's a little hard to argue.
I say that because I was thinking top 3 all time. Like it's one of those things. Like I'm not taking anything away from Larry Fitzgerald. He's absolutely first ballot Hall of Famer without question. And I was just thinking when he said top 3, I was like, there's a few names that pop up before I think of Larry Fitzgerald. But then again, I mean that's why I asked. I don't know. Like I'm throwing Randy Moss, T.O., Jerry Rice. Those right there, I would pick over Larry Fitzgerald. But then again, I don't know. That's a question I asked you guys. But definitely, for somebody to not have a ring, Larry Fitzgerald is definitely one of them.
Yep, that is true. That is true. All right, moving right along, we got Gerald Lowe's. Gerald, if I butcher your name, please let me know. Gerald Lowe's, he said he gave us 4 of them. Randy Moss, Dan Marino. You're gonna like this one, be live. Luke Kuechly.
Luke. Oh, it's so hard. My bad. All right, I'm back.
It's a mass exodus out of Carolina. And he also said Megatron. Yep.
Yeah,
So
that's good. I just think he gets overlooked in the greatest conversation because he only played 10 years. I say only. I mean, that's still a lengthy career, but compared to Rice and Fitzgerald and Moss, he just didn't play as long as and never had the opportunities. Never even got close to the Super Bowl.
I think with Megatron, and when you say 10 years and you really put in perspective, he played quite a lengthy NFL career, but it was the fact that he left the game still in his prime. Like
Yeah.
he was playing at a top level when he left the game. We were just like, you just gonna leave us like that? You ain't gonna just give us nothing else? Because I think Megatron could have broke every freaking record there was when it comes to receiving the ball if he'd have played out his entire career. So I mean, that's definitely a good answer.
yeah, that's a good answer. That Megatron was a good answer too, and the other ones, Moss, Marino, and Kuechly. I mean, Marino had that one trip, and that was it. That was it. So, yep, that's unfortunate for them as well too. Corey Turner said Barry Sanders and, you guessed it, Dan Marino.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get a lot of those too. That they're the ones that kind of jump off the page at you at the top of the lists. Their careers both among the greatest of all time without getting that ring. So I was expecting to have a lot of those. Those two seem to be the obvious ones. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, especially Barry leaving the game is early at the height of his career, and then Dan Marino, he just had, like I said, he had that one trip and then could not get back there for the life of him. But he played a tough conference, man. He played a very tough conference.
Can I put a side note in this real quick because I also noticed a trend.
Go ahead.
What is going up in Detroit? Why are players leaving the game early from Detroit? And now there's reports that the Tua Tagovailoa family does not want to go to Detroit.
Makes you wonder. I think with Barry, wasn't it a money situation with Barry?
I don't recall right now, but it was way too early.
Yeah,
way too early. Again, somebody else that's playing top level. I mean, and just say, "Oh, I'm good." If you give me a moment, I might try to hit the Google machine to see, because it was definitely unorthodox.
Yeah, because it was him and Megatron. I think it might have been money issue with Megatron as well. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, when you're in Detroit, it's hard to get things done with Scott Mitchell at quarterback. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just saying, man. Detroit did have some good teams, but they just couldn't get over the hump and couldn't get that Super Bowl to Barry, man. Just couldn't get him to that doggone Super Bowl. Well, I believe if he would have went, he would have showed up and showed out. Craig Carr, he also said Dan Marino as well too. Martin Tracy, holla at your boy, Martin Tracy. On defense, he said Derek Thomas, and on our offense, he also said Barry Sanders as well too.
Yeah, I like the recognition of Derek Thomas in that question.
Yeah. Derek Thomas was a career that ended too soon.
Well, yeah. I did a little quick Googling real quick, again with that side note. Barry Sanders wrote a book in which he made it pretty clear that he retired because he was losing interest in playing for a franchise that didn't put a winning team on the field.
Got you. So, yeah, so it wasn't even money related, man. He's like, you know what? I can't be here no more. Wow. You couldn't tell by the way he was playing, though.
Right. That's crazy. But, so, I mean, yeah, Detroit Lions, penalty box nominee.
Yeah. You got to figure something. You got to figure something out. You can't have good players and then be like, well, I just want to retire. I don't want to do this anymore. Got to feel the good product, man. Got to feel that good product. And I still believe to this day, Matt Patricia just ain't the answer. Nope. He just ain't. Sorry, not sorry. Let's see. Mark Olds, he said Bo Jackson. Our first Bo Jackson mention in this week's Choices of the Voices. So, grace to never win the big one.
Yeah, he was awesome, but I can't really put him on this list just because his career was only a few years, and he was not ever the fully committed NFL player. He had the baseball thing going on too. Maybe the greatest athlete of our generation, whose career also cut short with that nasty hip injury. But I like the call. I just don't completely agree.
Gotcha. You gotta understand that. All right, Trey Dizzle. He said hands down, Dan Marino, and guess who else? Barry Sanders. He says no one else comes close.
I'm surprised Trey didn't pick Tony Romo right there.
That was his opportunity. That was his
Yeah,
guy.
Very big opportunity.
That was it. I was
he
waiting on it.
glanced right over that one.
I'm over like, are we going to get her? And I put the answer together. I was like, no. I was going to inbox him. Dude, you sure you want to give me this answer? you know what we're looking for, right? All right. And then we have Richard Sharisky. He says also Barry Sanders and Dan Marino.
All right, so I guess those are the winners, huh?
Yep. So let's see. The Barry Sanders, Dan Marino, 1 and 2. And then everybody else rounds out the 50-11 players that never won a Super Bowl. Never won a Super Bowl. Be Live. Your greatest to ever do it, but never win the big one. Who you got?
I mean, I don't disagree with Barry Sanders. And, like, I picked Barry Sanders over Dan Marino because of the simple fact of what we had already discussed. The fact that he left everything on the field. Like, there was no, like he pounded the rock. He broke so many ankles, it's ridiculous. Like, he revolutionized the game. I mean, his jukes and his cuts were what kids were growing up trying to do. Who didn't want to try to freaking break somebody and leave them laying on the other side of the field like Barry Sanders did? It was ridiculous. And just the way, like I said, the way his career ended and everything, Barry Sanders by far the best to have ever done it and not have a ring. And the worst part about it is not even get close. So, yeah, that's where I stand.
Yeah, I got a few of them. I actually had a chance to go on complex.com and actually look up a list, doing research. I'm like, okay, you got the obvious one. I'm like, who else were so good to where they didn't win one? Of course, you got the obvious, Dan Marino and Barry Sanders. But also, it was mentioned here earlier by Mike Cano, Bruce Smith. You talking about a guy that is the all-time sacks leader with 200 career sacks and playing on those Super Bowl teams, only for those Super Bowl teams that have some of their worst defensive performances when it mattered the most.
Yeah,
think about look at Bruce Smith's accomplishments. He's an 11-time Pro Bowl selection, 11-time All-Pro selection, and he is the NFL all-time sack leader. I mean, it's just sad, but it's like somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. And unfortunately for Bruce Smith and the rest of that Buffalo Bills crew, they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4 straight Super Bowls. And I don't want to feel bad for them, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Here's the thing. I don't necessarily feel bad for them. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. The Buffalo Bills dominated a weak AFC.
Yeah, it was.
There really wasn't too many standout teams during that time, but they ended up going up against the juggernauts of San Francisco and Dallas.
Yeah, San
Francisco. No, they didn't get San Francisco. They got the Giants, the Redskins, and Cowboys.
Okay. Giants, Redskins, and the Cowboys. Yep.
But still, like that. For whatever reason, back in the annals of history, because it definitely isn't that now. The NFC East was where it's at. Like, literally. And those teams were, speaks for itself. And so, I don't know. Because I just think at the time, I think the competition in the NFC was far greater than the AFC at the time. So, it was just one of those things where you end up just But definitely not taken away from Bruce Smith at all. Like that guy was phenomenal on the field. To the point, like I said, because his sack record still stands, right?
200.
It's
Yep,
crazy.
it still stands. 200, 200 career sacks. I'm gonna do some quick research and figure out who is closest to Bruce Smith.
When it came to his defensive play, the Bills across the board, that team and everything, they're always going to be there in that type of conversation. So close, but yet so far. So I mean, I like that
Yeah,
answer.
there were some other good teams in the AFC at the time. I mean, at that time they were going against Elway, Marino, Warren Moon, and obviously had the big comeback against Warren Moon. So there were some Hall of Fame quarterbacks that were in the AFC at that time.
Did
So
Warren Moon ever get a Super Bowl?
he did not.
That's
He
another
did
guy
not.
we forgot to mention. Warren Moon. He didn't get one either.
But he got all them great cups, right?
Man, he went on there and clean
Yeah,
house
he
in
did.
Canada. He went to Canada and clean house.
He
I think he
did
got like
collect in Canada.
what 5 between like 80 and 85 or something like
Yeah.
that. It's something unheard of, and I was like, wow, man. And I remember I read up on Warren Moon years ago, and I was like, wow, he was that dude in the CFL. Him and the Edmonton Eskimos went up there and just cleaned house. Never seen none of that in my life.
But
All right,
never got a Super Bowl ring. So I'm glad we had this conversation because that's definitely one of the greats.
yeah.
So yeah, he's tasted championships, but not the ultimate prize of a Super Bowl. So
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Bruce Smith is number 1 with 200 sacks even. A very close second, the legendary Reggie White
okay,
with 198.
I think Kevin Green's up there too, right?
Yep, he's third with 160. Julius Peppers fourth all time. Julius Peppers fourth all time with 59 and a half. Hall of
And
Famer
he did not get a ring, correct?
no, him
no,
neither. Let's see, Hall of Famer Chris Dolman, who recently passed away. Rest in peace, Chris Dolman, and condolences to his family.
Also did not get a ring.
Did he or did he not? Well, he played for he played for the 49ers and the Vikings. So I don't know if he was on any of those teams, but I don't think he got one either. Let's see. Then we got Michael Strahan, 6 with 141.5. Jason Taylor, another guy who didn't get a ring, 139.5. Terrell Suggs, who now has 2 rings as of last night, 139. DeMarcus Ware, your boy, Scottie D. DeMarcus Ware, 138.5. And Richard Dent, he got about 30 of them things. Richard Dent and John Randall are tied for 10th at 137.5. I don't think John Randall got a ring either.
No, but Dent was a Super Bowl MVP, so he got plenty of recognition.
Yeah, we got plenty.
That sounds like, and that just saying that sounds like Bruce Smith. That's not going to get touched.
No,
I don't think that's going to get touched.
No, because the only active closest one is Terrell Suggs, and he in year 17. So no, it's
that's not going to get touched.
No, because I'm looking at who's active now. You got Von Miller, you got Cameron Wake, Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt, Clay Matthews, Ryan Kerrigan, Justin Houston, Clay. No, hell no. Like half of these guys, like 40. Let me see from from 35, which is Joey Porter, from 35 on down to to 60. They're anywhere between like 90 to between 98 to 75 sacks themselves. So yeah, Bruce Smith was a monster, baby. He was a whole problem. You know what? They didn't start instituting sacks as an official stat until 1982. And since we're speaking of guys who never won one, Deacon Jones, Rams great. Deacon Jones, he never won a Super Bowl either. And at the time, they didn't record sacks, but if they did, I'm pretty sure he would be on that list as well too. All right, Scottie D, what you got?
You know what? I was looking at the list. It jumped out to me that at least four of the greatest tight ends to ever play don't have rings. I'm talking about Antonio Gates, Jason Witten, Tony Gonzalez, Ozzie Newsome. None of those guys won Super Bowls, and you could make a case other than maybe Shannon Sharp that those are right at the top of the best tight ends to ever play.
Mm-hmm.
2 Hall of Famers that got elected this weekend: Steve Hutchinson and Edgerrin James never got rings. Brian Urlacher and Junior Seau didn't get rings. 2 of the best middle linebackers ever. But when I brought my list down, and Larry Fitzgerald was going to be my answer. It came down to 2, him and Eric Dickerson, and I choose Dickerson over Barry Sanders when I list the greatest running back. So I would, if it comes down to ranking them, I would put Dickerson over Barry Sanders. But I consider Larry Fitzgerald to be number 2 greatest receiver of all time behind Jerry Rice. And maybe just ahead of Moss. I mean, if you tell me Randy Moss is better than Fitzgerald, I can't argue that either, because those guys are both phenomenal. But I think Larry Fitzgerald gets overlooked a lot because he's had some weak quarterback play through the years. You know, what we were talking about earlier, and has just been an absolutely phenomenal target, model of consistency, great hands. You know, makes the sideline grabs, plays with speed, toughness, blocks, does everything you want. So I'm going to make my answer Larry Fitzgerald, but Eric Dickerson would be my very, very close second answer.
Yeah, Eric Dickerson. Yeah, he was he was another one of them monsters back then, running over everybody. And I guess somebody said that Derrick Henry, they called him Derrick Dickerson. Because Derrick Henry reminds him of Eric Dickerson.
Yeah,
I definitely cannot take that away from you. I mean, whoo! You saw Eric Dickerson come your way. You're like, oh boy,
you have to make a business decision.
How do I get this dude down, man? But yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you. Those are definitely very good answers.
Oh yeah, Dickerson was such a warrior at that running back position, man. So, we've talked before. I think we ranked our running backs before, and I've always said that the reason I don't have Barry Sanders as the greatest is because he took a lot of losses. He did a lot of dancing, looking for the home run, and would take 2 and 3 yard losses, and put his offense in second, third, and long positions. But Eric Dickerson to me was just he was just an absolute monster for a while. So I got him and Fitzgerald as my best without rings.
Yep. Those are all great choices. This is you did, Scottie D. Round of applause, man. I'll give you a good job, man. For you did it with this one, with this week's question, man. Because you had your obvious, then you made us think, and then I went back and did some research. I'm like, oh, that's right. I mean, I'm overlooking now. Fran Tarkington doesn't have a ring.
Yeah, and it was good to hear some of the. Like I said, I was expecting everyone to go with Marino and Barry Sanders, but we did get a lot of variety out there. So, thumbs up to those who responded to us for that.
Yeah, I'm still looking some more. Earl Campbell, he didn't have a ring. Carl Eller, Anthony Munoz ain't got a ring. Alan Page, Chris Carter ain't got a ring.
Wow.
Let me see.
Carter. Woo.
Yeah, let me see who else. Warren Moon, as we mentioned earlier.
Tony Romo.
Yeah, Tony Romo.
Man, that's not even necessary.
Trey Dillon, we gave you a softie. We gave you a softball right there.
Amari Cooper.
Oh boy, here we go.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Scott, come back.
Tyron Smith.
Come back. We were doing so good.
Yeah, that's all going to be different in 365 days from now. We'll make some of those wrongs right. Good. We're going to right some wrongs in 365 days.
Oh man! All right, so Scottie D, what's next week's question for the choices of the voices?
So this one is near and dear to my heart, and believe it or not, guys, I was gonna ask that. I had been planning this question for several weeks because it's actually not an original. It's something I saw on TV and wanted to get our listeners involved. And the question was that I saw on TV a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, actually, was who would win in a 2-on-2 matchup, LeBron James and Anthony Davis against Shaq and Kobe, and obviously, I didn't expect the tragedy of last week to happen, and so I have a feeling that a lot of us will lean towards the Kobe answer, but I want to put that one out there anyway, because if you really stop and think about the matchup, it would create an interesting 2-on-2 game. And, yeah, man, I did this. The timing is just very awkward. That was the question I was going to ask, and then we lost Kobe. But you know what? We've been talking about Kobe a lot lately, rightfully so, over this past week. Let's just go ahead and put that one out there and see what our listeners say about that. Shaq and Kobe against AD and the King.
That should be a good one. That should be a very good one. I have to really think long and hard about that one. And I think, Scott, I'm going to go ahead and call it, man. That might be one of the all-time questions in the history of the Choices of the Voices segment here on the Sports Bros podcast. So you heard it, guys. Who would win between on the 2-on-2? Who would win? AD and the King, the Brow and the King, or the Mamba and Shaq Diesel? Next week, Choices of the Voices. And once again, shout out to Uncle Max, Mike, Josh, Gerald Corey, Craig, Martin Tracy, Mark Olds, Trey Dizzle, and Richard for your participation in the Choices of the Voices segment. And we really enjoy doing this. So think about it. If you listen to the show, a good portion of the show, we're talking about you guys, about what you give us. Because we give you the questions, you give us the answers. We have good spirited conversation, like some grown folks up in here. Exactly. All right, moving right along to the end of the show. Wow, fellas, we done breezed through this one. We are at the pepper portion of the show, where there's 3 topics: rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. I don't know how the hell we're gonna do this, because B-Live kind of let the cat out the bag, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, B-Live's his toothpaste is already on the brush, man. He's already squeezed that out the tube. So we know all roads lead to Dabo in this round of pepper as far as B-Live goes.
Yeah. I'm gonna try something else. I think I got a couple more.
Oh, so you get more pepper just because you threw a temper tantrum earlier, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Extra habanero, baby.
Maybe I want to do 6 pepper points this week.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh man, here we go. Cough it up.
Oh boy.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, so here we go. My first pepper point goes out to Patrick Mahomes II. Yes, he's fresh off his Super Bowl win, but guess what though? Could he be the one that broke the Madden curse? Think about it. You remember what happened to Antonio Brown this year when he was on the Madden curse, or years previous? Yeah, you see how that turned out. Also, don't forget what happened to Sean Alexander, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, and Peyton Hillis. These guys have never been the same once they graced the cover of the Madden video game franchise, especially Sean Alexander. What in the hell happened to you? But that's neither here nor there. Patrick Mahomes won the NFL MVP in 2018. He won a Super Bowl. He's the Super Bowl MVP. He led his team to a comeback after they were down by a bunch in the Super Bowl. Might I mention, he did all this in 36 games. 36 games, and he's only 24 years old. So, whether some people like it or not, man, I think Patrick Mahomes can get him a seat at the table when it comes to guys with rings and doing things, because he's far from done. Far from done. Over to you, Scottie D.
Yeah, man, good stuff by Mahomes there. I like that kid a lot. Mm-hmm. So our pepper's supposed to be some quick hitting points, and forgive me if I'm a little bit more long on this one, but last week, I'm glad last week is over, because it was such an emotional week for me with the whole Kobe Bryant thing. Last week on the podcast, I kind of suggested off the top of my head that I thought that the All-Star game should pose one team wearing Kobe's 8 and the other team wearing 24. And the league actually came up with something similar where I think Giannis's team is going to wear 24 and LeBron's team is going to wear 2 in honor of Kobe's daughter, Gigi. And, I think that's going to be a great tribute. With the All-Star game next weekend, not this weekend coming, but next weekend, we're going to get more of this emotional stuff involving Kobe Bryant. But man, what a week it was. I watched Tuesday night as Shaq and Jerry West poured their hearts out and, just sobbing over the loss of Kobe Bryant. And then, of course, I watched the Friday night game, which unfortunately the Lakers did not get the win against Portland. but the emotion that was in the Staples Center, around the Staples Center, the outside as well as through the building, as Usher sang Amazing Grace and Boyz II Men sang the national anthem, and then you had LeBron giving the speech. Man, I love Kobe Bryant, but I'm ready to start healing, because this has been. And I was thinking about this the other day. In my 47 years, I don't think I have ever seen one particular celebrity, so to speak, be mourned and create such overwhelming sadness across the board. You know, Michael Jackson was the biggest star in the world when he died, and you know, Whitney Houston was a big time star, but you just didn't see, and maybe because of their self-destructive demise, but you just don't see like the overwhelming sadness with everybody you talk to. People who didn't you know, people that don't like basketball or say I wasn't a Kobe fan. But everybody was so sad by that tragic event. The only thing you could maybe equate it to is when Princess Diana died, because that was a tragic car accident. But here in America, you know, she didn't mean as much to us as she did in the UK. But Kobe Bryant seemed to really strike a chord with people worldwide. And that's to his credit, because as I was saying last week, he was not beloved early in his career, but man, what an overwhelming week of sadness. And I'm glad the Lakers finally got back on the court and are starting to get back to normal, because there's still some healing to do. But I just wanted to point out that I just, you know, it was, I was sad so much last week, and I'll always be sad that Kobe's gone. But man, what a tribute to the man's legacy that so many people were touched by him. And that was my first pepper point.
Man, heartfelt. Now question: Am I allowed to get the ball?
Yeah, man, go ahead. Be
Yes,
live.
it's yours now. It's yours now. Okay. From earlier, yeah, it's yours now.
And by the way, the reason I went last on Choices of the Voice this week is because I didn't want to step on your toes like last week, and there you went and had a meltdown anyway. So go ahead, cry baby.
Oh boy, here we go.
Man, you know what? I'm not gonna. I'm hold it in. I'm woosah. All right. Ooh, all right. And I had a meltdown already. So, my first new pepper point is going to be about Patrick Mahomes, Las Vegas, betting, and bad beats.
Ooh.
Vegas reports that when Patrick Mahomes kneeled the ball, and he kneeled it in an unusual fashion, because he was trying to take off as much time as possible when he was kneeling. It goes on the stat books that he lost 15 yards. And as we all know, there's a lot of prop bets that go along with the Super Bowl. Vegas reports that those 15 yards caused a six-figure swing in bet.
Wow.
Because I think the over was 36 and a half yards. And Mahomes had that before he lost those 15 yards. Even to the point, which is unprecedented, that PointsBet elected to refund all bets on Mahomes over 30.5 rushing yards. And they said if there's been a worse beat on a prop than this one, feel free to let us know. The worst beat of all time, Patrick Mahomes kneeling and losing yards. Eddy Kool, the ball. Wow.
Going backwards 13 yards. That's a real bad beat, man. That's a bad old beat. That's a bad beat. Well, since we're in the spirit of football and about to round out football, wait a minute. Hold up. We're not done yet with football. You remember that football league that came out damn near 20 years ago called the XFL, or in the words of Vince McMahon, the XFL. You know, you had such characters as He Hate Me and the Terminator, and that's about it. And, you know, so it's no characters He Hate Me and the Jersey Styles and having a scrum for the ball and people breaking ankles and being lost for the season. But anyways, they rebooted it. They finally got it together. Looks a little bit clean, a little bit crisp. The XFL season is right around the corner. which means we got more football. Another 10, 11, 12 weeks of football. Woo, boy, we got more football. Scottie D, are you excited about it?
Oh, I can't wait.
We got more football. We got more football. You will be seeing such familiar faces of quarterbacks such as Cardale Jones, who was a quarterback for Ohio State University, Aaron Murray, who was a quarterback for the University of Georgia, the UGA Bulldogs, Connor Cook from Michigan State, and also you will see familiar coaches such as Bob Stoops, who currently coaches the Dallas Renegades, and June Jones, who coaches the Houston Roughnecks. Week 1 starts February the 2nd, 2020. And the first game going to be on ABC. The second game is going to be on Fox. The first game, we got Seattle at DC. And then LA and Houston going to be the 5 o'clock game. And on Sunday, we got another 2 o'clock and a 5 o'clock game. Tampa Bay at New York and St. Louis. That's right. St. Louis got another football team. And Dallas at 5 o'clock on ESPN. XFL Part 2. The question is, will they last longer than the Alliance of American Football? We shall see. Over to you, Scottie D, who's enthused about the XFL season.
Man, I wish I could close my eyes and make it opening day of the XFL right now. I just wish I could just fast forward to that. So I mentioned, I believe last week or the week before, that while I was understanding Troy Polamalu was going to get elected to the Hall of Fame, that I thought Steve Atwater deserved to be in there and Polamalu needed to get behind him in line. Well, they both got in. So Steve Atwater is going to get his just due. That was a hard-hitting safety for the Denver Broncos in the 80s and 90s. I believe he got 2 rings. He was part of the back-to-back teams, and his long wait is over, and it was much deserved. So I just want to give him a shout-out because that's a guy who was overlooked by the voters, as often is the case. Once you get overlooked once or twice, it seems like your name just gets passed down the list from year to year. Well, Atwater's finally getting his just due. So congratulations to Steve Atwater. Be Live, your turn.
Yay! I get to go again. Woo! But yes, Steve Atwater, and again, when it comes to the Hall of Fame, the reason why it's so hard to get in after the first and second pass is because you're adding more players with eligibility. And we throw around the term a lot, first ballot. So when you get guys that are eligible, those other guys sort of get put on the back burner. So I'm actually very happy about that as well. All right, my second Pepper Point 2.0. How in the world did Tom Brady make it into the Super Bowl even though the Patriots didn't make it? Because he decides to tweet a very cryptic picture about him saying all good things must come to an end and blah, blah, blah. And it was a segue into a Hulu commercial.
Hulu?
Yeah. You didn't see that commercial?
No, I think I was up getting another round of meatballs.
Meatballs are a staple for Super Bowl parties. I had quite plenty myself. But yeah, Tom Brady pretty much almost broke ESPN because ESPN was about to report that Tom Brady retired. It was that close. I even saw it on the bottom. I was like, what is they talking about? Tom Brady with cryptic text, and I'm all right, let me look it up. And so I see what happened because I saw the commercial before I saw the tweet. I'm like, oh, all right. But yeah, it is what it is. Tom Brady, the GOAT. I still don't like you. You made it to the Super Bowl, only this time in a commercial. Eddy Kool, the ball.
Let me just jump in there real quick, but I'm glad that it had a purpose because when I saw the tweet earlier this week, I was like, what is wrong with this dude? He's acting like a jilted girlfriend, you know? So I'm glad that it actually had a purpose. And I know the Raiders want him in Vegas, but I'm pretty sure Brady's going back to New England. So, all right, Eddy Kool. Sorry.
After the Pepper Point, I got some Brady news for you in a little bit.
I love Brady news.
It's not really news, but it's kind of like
I bet.
why it's just relevant to Tom Brady. The third and final Pepper Point goes out to Andy Reid. Why? Because he finally gets the ring that he lost, never had actually, that he damn near had There it is. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. And it got away from him. You got to be quicker than that next time, Andy. Well, Andy, you know what? He finally gets his ring. Just due to one of the better coaches of the past 20 plus years in the NFL. Shout out to Big Red, Andy Reid. Finally got him one. He also can get that monkey off his back as well, too. And he will be one of those coaches that got at least one Super Bowl. He's one of the good coaches that got at least one Super Bowl. Because there's a lot of so-so coaches, and like, how in the hell you got a ring? But Andy Reid, man, enjoy your day in the sun and enjoy your double cheeseburger. Over to you, Scottie D.
Yeah, man. Kudos to Andy Reid. I actually thought when they dumped the Gatorade on him, they were going to dump gravy on him or barbecue sauce. But anyway.
Wow.
Anyway, so in the not so recognized sports story of the past week, Novak Djokovic won the Australian Open. That was his record-extending 8th and his 17th major. So shout out to Novak Djokovic, the guy who often gets overlooked in the era of Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. But this dude is right there on the all-time list of greatest tennis players ever. 17 majors, man. Don't sleep on Novak Djokovic. The Joker. Shout out to the Joker.
I tell you what, I remember when, I think it was in late 2009 is when he really started making some noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been tearing up ever since, man.
He's been around every tournament, but you just he wins, but a lot of attention goes to those other cats. But the Joker, man, 17 majors.
Wow.
He's been. Oh yeah. I'm without words because I've recognized it, but I've never really spoke on it. But I definitely like the fact that you gave him his just due with that. The Joker. Yes. I'm going to try to finish this off with my third Pepper Point 2.0.
Your sixth Pepper Point.
Because you got to give this dude props, and I'm talking about Dame Dollar. Damian Lillard. Are you kidding me right now?
Dame time?
Dame time. The last 6 games he's played, he is averaging over 48 points a game and averaging over 10 assists. Are you kidding me? How is that possible?
Dame time.
Wow. Like, just wow. I want to give him props because the Trailblazers they're struggling right now. But, man, those are astronomical numbers. 61 points, 47, 50, 36, 48, 51. Cut it out.
Dame time.
Dame time. And, and even the way he's been doing it, like, he doesn't even care anymore. He's just one dribble across half court in your face for no reason. 37, 38, 39 footers. I thought Steph Curry, who? Dang. And that'll wrap it up.
All right. So speaking of Dame Lillard and Portland Trailblazers, they're winners of 4 straight. They currently sit at 9th place in the Western Conference at 23 and 27. Ahead of them are the Grizzlies at 24 and 25, and the Oklahoma City Thunder at 7th place at 30 and 20. So,
you know what? That team, they broke my heart the other night because they were playing. They beat the Lakers on the first game back on Kobe tribute night. But man, I have to tell you, I love how Damian Lillard was just such a sniper that night. Man, he was unapologetic. He's like, I'm just going out and beating these dudes, and thumbs up to that guy. I like Damian Lillard, so he made me sad, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I like the way he played tonight. So I think Portland can make a move and get inside that top 8. If they keep playing the way they've been playing the last week or so.
Yeah, because I'm saying they're not that far out, man. They're 23 and 27, and one thing if the Grizzlies fall apart and if the Grizzlies and the Thunder fall apart, they just might have a shot to get up in there, man. They just might have a shot to get up in
Yeah,
there.
they won 4 in a row. They're hot. So.
Yep. All right, everybody got their pepper in? Everybody
Yeah,
warmed
B-Live,
up?
you have 3 more you want to toss out at
I'm
us?
good.
Bro?
I'm good.
You already set the Sports Bros record for most pepper points in a single episode. So.
Thank you. Quick shout out to all my peeps out there. Moms, love you. To my pops, sorry, I know you're a 49ers fan. Love you, bro. To it's about the kids. I'm good.
He says it's about the kids. All right, guys. And earlier this week, I also posted another with the retirement of Eli Manning. I also posted another poll time on our Facebook Live page, and I asked the question. The question was asked: Eli Manning, will he be in the Hall of Fame or not? B Live was brought up a good point. He's 117, which means he's 500. He has a winning record.
Not a winning record.
What 17 is it? It's 500. It'll get you somewhere.
It's a top.
It ain't losing.
That's what I'm saying. It ain't winning.
It ain't losing.
There.
You're just sitting there chilling. Okay, sitting there chilling. All right. So 70% of the Sports Bros Nation say 72% say yes, he's getting in the Hall of Fame. 28 say no, he's not getting in the Hall of Fame. And Scott Donnelly from North Myrtle Beach said he should be getting into the Hall of Pain.
Yeah, Mark Henry should slam him because Eli was a whiny little brat. But I do think he's not only going to get in, I think he'll be on the first ballot, to be honest with
you. You're crazy. You are crazy. You think Eli Manning's first ballot Hall of Fame?
I think he will get voted.
Career. Hold on.
Listen, I'm telling you what I think is going to happen.
And I'm telling you,
not telling you I think he's the best
quarterback.
I don't think he's the best quarterback of all time. I think he will get in, and I think it'll happen on the first ballot. I do. I think the name Manning carries a lot of weight.
That's the problem.
Okay, I'm not saying it. I'm saying what I think will happen. I'm not giving you opinions on how I think he played. I told you I thought he was a whiny little brat. I'd like to punch him. I'd like to put him in the Hall of Fame. I told you before that he was like the athlete I most wanted to smash his face. And we do a poll or something like that last year. I think we did a question like that.
Yeah, we did. I think we did one in the early episodes.
Yeah, something like that. And
so you're predicting, but you're not endorsing.
Gotcha. That's correct. That is correct, sir.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. I'll let you live this time.
No, yeah, that's crazy.
Why don't you do a pepper point on it?
Yep. So, that being said, I mean, I think he'll get in, and you may be right about first ballot Hall of Fame because he has two things going in his favor. Number one, he's a Manning. Number two, he stopped Tom Brady from getting not only one but 2 Super Bowl rings. So that also may help as well too. All right, and shout out to our visitors to our site who participate in these polls. I have plenty polls coming up. Or if you guys want to shoot us some ideas, you know how to get in contact with us. Speaking of how to get in contact with us, we about to leave. We about to go. But before we go, Scottie D, how can they get in contact with you?
Find me on Facebook. I'm awesome when it comes to posting stuff on Facebook. You can come see me at Bowie's doing trivia on Monday nights. I'm awesome. That's at 6:00. Or you can come to Wild Wing, where I do awesome trivia on Wednesday nights at 6:46 p.m. Yes, sir.
Booyah. No, you're a booyah.
Oh, hey.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute. That is my catchphrase, sir. wait, booyah. All right, cool. And Eddy Kool, I'm gonna help you out. I'm not even gonna let you set me up this time. You can find me in St. Louis because it's Missouri, baby. St. Louis is close enough to KC Mo. They celebrating. I don't care. But anyway, check me out, man. We're at you can find me here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, at Max Speed Chapel, 482 North McPherson Church Road, home of the world famous pulled pork, award-winning brisket burgers that are just so juicy. 57 beers on tap, 180 plus bottles and cans of beer on the wall. and strong possibility that we might have the XFL games on sound for you this coming weekend.
I got to come up there.
Trying to tell you, come check your boy out. Also, you can catch me on various social media sites. On Instagram, you can find me on Instagram. Just be your boy, be live, no I. So THSBEYABOYBLIVE. That's also my handle on Twitter. You can find us, the Sports Bros Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram will be Sports Bros Podcast. On Twitter, be Sports Bros PCast. If you have any comments, questions about the show, you can email us at sportsbrospcast@gmail.com. Check out our YouTube page. Want to give a quick shout out to my man Reese. Got some new artwork for us. Reese is also giving us our logo, and he actually put something together for our YouTube channel, which we're going to be working on and updating very soon. So we got a lot of things in work that we're trying to do for you. Also want to appreciate my Clemson fans out there. Quick shout out to LSU and various other programs out there as well. I've been in discussions with a lot of them as well, and they've been very supportive of the podcast. We're fellas, I don't know if you see the numbers are continuing to grow.
Yep.
I'm very appreciative of that. So I want to give a shout out to all of those who are listeners. Thank you so much for the growth. Thank you so much for the love. We appreciate it. You're making us better each and every day. If you don't notice it, a majority of what we do here at with the podcast is all about the listener.
That's it.
The polls, the choices of the voices. This is all you, baby. We do this for you. This is sports by the fan for the fan. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I consider that to be pepper point 7, 8, 9 for B Live. Eddy Kool, take us home.
All right. With that being said, this is your boy Eddy Kool, aka the HOC, here at the Sports Bros Podcast. You catch me on Facebook, Eddy Kool. Not my real government name, but you get it. Also, you can catch me on Instagram, Cool Season, all one word. That's KOOLSEASON. I'm also on the Sports Bros side thing as well, too. The Sports Bros YouTube channel, as you mentioned. And all things Sports Bros Be Live mentioned, I'm over there, too. So, yeah, I'm not hard. In the words of Booker T, I'm not a hard man to find, baby. Not at all. Sucker! And with that being said, it's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They will greatly appreciate it. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, winners of Super Bowl 54. And this has been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Stop it. Booyah!